Cybersecurity is one of the, I think, one of the most demanding and important problems of our time. It literally affects everything that we're doing, especially since we live in an internet economy. And with that problem, and since we've built a lot of these products and services, not often with thinking security first, then now we've got to come afterwards and try to secure things. And as a result, it requires a lot of resources as well as individuals, and we just don't have enough. And that's where SecureSet comes in, is to help solve that problem. Okay. 2014 was really taking the idea and working together to get some employer feedback and figure out what the real opportunity was. By 2015, we raised our AA round. So brought in $1 million to put the idea to test. Then we spent some time actually getting state approval, because you have to be approved to run an education institution. By January 16, we were actually operational. So we held our first class, which was a great and a big milestone for us. And then it's one thing to educate individuals, and it's another thing to make sure that they're workforce ready. And so some other big milestones in 2016 included placing all of our graduates from our first cohort. So that was wonderful. Proved that the model worked, the curriculum worked, and the transformation had happened. 2017, we actually opened our second campus in Colorado Springs. And that was really important. Also that year, we did a program with Fort Carson, where we're working with transitioning militaries. So that on their last 6 months, they can come to us, go through our program, and then be placed in careers on the other side, which works out well for them, as well as for us, in providing them the opportunity. So this year, 2018, we have launched a third campus, Tampa, and our fourth campus in Washington, D.C. So a lot of great milestones the last 3 years. We've got one course that really focuses on engineering, and another course that focuses more on analysts. And so we actually have different demographics for each one of those. So on the engineering, our engineering students typically have about 75% of them have some technical experience already when coming into the program. 25% not as much, but they have some acumen in that area. We've got about 40% of them come from a military background, and about 25% of them have a minority status, and then we have about 12.5% that are economic hardship, and so we do provide some financial assistance for those individuals. And then on the analyst side, it's interesting because we have about 25% of our students are female, really interested in this track, which is wonderful to see. And then we have again about 25% minority, about 12.5% that economic hardship background, but lower military, only about 30% military on that side. So a lot of the changes we've made along the way is figuring out the right way to engage with the community and the customer. I think for the employer perspective, it was very simple. They wanted to come to us, and they wanted to be able to find great talent and hire that's easy. For individuals, one thing that we learned really quickly is that a lot of people want to get into the space, but they don't believe that they can do it. And so we had to do things like create a prep program to give them a taste of the education, have them try it before they actually join the program. So not that they couldn't do it, but so that they could prove to themselves that they could do it. And that was really important for us and for them. Also the way that they find us. So we hold a lot of events because people that want to get in, tend to want to try it, but they also need an outlet for testing and trying these various things. So those are things that we had ideas about, but we didn't really know until we learned from the customer that these are the things you need to do to really help them learn about themselves, that they can actually do it. It's a self-efficacy issue. So when we were starting this up, we had actually looked at another state. But Denver just always had such a great startup scene. It had such a great security organization scene. And so for us, the combination of the Denver startup scene and all the security organizations that are here just made it the perfect place to start SecureSet.
And then what's in Tampa?
Tampa's also got a very robust security organization. When I talk about security organization, I'm talking like OWASP, B-Sides, ISACA, ISSA, the DEF CON crowd. These are security organizations that meet on a regular basis. And whenever you've got a thriving scene like that, you can find a lot of people who are interested in the space, but also potential instructors and community supporters for what you're doing. So Tampa had that, just like Denver had, so it made a lot of sense to do that campus.
Are there other?
A lot of grit, determination, humility, being able to be coached, right? Perseverance, and obviously luck is in there as well. Mm-hmm. It's about developing a vision with that customer in mind, and then holding to that vision and being willing to tweak the vision along the way, but holding true to what you're trying to accomplish. For me, I'd actually started a company prior to this, about 3 years prior to starting this, and I ended up closing it down. And part of it was I wasn't as passionate about what I was doing, and while it may have been able to make money, that wasn't the primary motivator. And I think for me, to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to love what you're doing and be passionate, because there will be days that you question why you did this, and you sometimes go, am I worse off than if I had not done this? But if you're passionate about what you're doing, it sustains you through those moments, and then you get on the mountaintops versus the valleys, and you're like, okay, now I know why I did this. So during our first year of operations in fall of 2016, we had reached that point of the company where we had run one successful cohort, and we were in the middle of the second cohort. So a lot had been proved, but there was still a lot unproven. We were running out of money. So I ended up having to cash in a good portion of my retirement and taking a big tax hit and dumping it and putting it into the company so that we could carry on for the remainder of that year, which got us to the point where we were able to obviously prove out additional things, bring in additional capital, which helped us grow and survive. And at the moment, it was a hard decision. It was, I'm taking what I've saved and putting it into this company that maybe in 6 months won't be here, but you believe in it so well, right? So deeply, and you just have passion for what you're doing. They did it. That's that little bit of luck. I think, sometimes it works out, and it worked out. And I think others could see what we were working on, and they believed in the mission that we were about. And so here we are today.